We hear you as fans of sport. And we say, okay, how do we grow together? How do we make changes? How do we bring you exclusives? And I think tonight is going to be one of those days as well. So send us your WhatsApp voice notes. Tefu Mashamaite is my guest. You don't mind, I can move slightly away from specifically football, because I know you're not just a football person. It's like speaking to Steve Kompela. It will be an insult to complete a conversation without veering off from football a little bit. Noam Chomsky, or Chomsky. You know that person, right?
Intellectual.
Tell me more about Chomsky.
Just people who are about ideas. I love ideas. And I've always told people that I'm more of a scholar before I'm a baller. But we live in a country that's very reductionist. They'll reduce you to whatever they want to reduce you to. So I've always followed people like Noam Chomsky, Edward Said, Ben Yokanan, just African history. That's something that inspires me.
Inspires you towards what? Because I know you have a degree in politics. International relations is a direction that you would have taken. Next year is a big year for South Africa. Tefu Mashamaite, there's an election in the country. And being a scholar and a graduate in this field,
I mean,
would you have pursued a career within the political front? I think our country is in dire need of fresh brains, fresh ideas, new direction, all sorts of things. And as a leader like yourself, who is not just a leader by virtue of verbalizing whatever it is that you say, but you're a leader and a scholar because you have it.
I took a different direction, I think, from 2005 when I graduated with the accolades that you've just mentioned, BA, International Relations and Politics. And I think I delved into something that was educational in a sense. Football has got its own, educational spaces that you can dive into. And I feel like since then, for the past, I don't know, probably it's going to be 20 years in 2025, I've just taken a different direction. But I'm still inspired, by scholars. But I feel like I have a role to play, in terms of maybe trying to inspire the youth with the experience that I've learned through sports. Because I come from a province where there's so much talent, not taking anything away from other provinces. We've produced so much talent in boxing, in athletics, in soccer, so I feel like maybe I have a role to play, going forward.
So 2025 would be what direction? Are you not inspired to become a political leader?
What is a political leader?
It's somebody who rallies support of like thinkers to go in a certain direction. Like if you're unhappy about what is happening currently, you form either a party, go as an independent. I know that's still up in the constitutional court as to what direction to take. But if you were to lead people in a certain way to maybe improve the quality of life in this country,
it becomes a rabbit hole. And you just keep on going into a different hole, and it becomes tiring. So maybe take a different direction. Maybe take something that inspires you. Maybe take something that you can go and hone the skills of young people, that you can shape into something, and they can go in their different roles. I think that's the quality, that's the nature of education. That's the beauty of education. I wanted to say that's the beauty of education, that you can go find fresh minds, and you can hone their talent and redirect them or direct them in a certain direction.
Negro with the hat.
Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey, I think he was a visionary. He saw certain things before people were awake. Our people were awakened. Man, like, are we even supposed to be talking about in this kind of space? A Negro with a hat.
Yes.
He was just a Negro with a hat, but at the end of the day, he faced his own people became the people that brought him down. You know, and I think that's the problem with us. There's always this, you know, this bipartisan, you know, nature of like, when there's Robert, there's someone who's ready to take you down. And I don't know whether it's by design or God somehow created it that way. But Marcus Garvey, I feel like for 100 years, if we followed his blueprint and what he wanted to create for our people, we should be in a different space right now, in a different world. He inspired the post-colonial movement that took place in the 1960s. And right until now, we're still struggling, you know. So there's the enemy is always like trying to like reverse the little gains that we make.
But when do we stop it? And you were saying that is this the right place to do it? I believe so. I believe that in order not to pigeonhole a Tefu Mashamaite, these conversations are very necessary. They're necessary to inject the kind of excitement, the kind of what is it that we can look forward to post-football, because people look forward to coaching. Others look forward to, you know, the stuff that is ordinary that we see happen every time. They look forward to being analysts on television to talk about the same game that they've played, which is football.
Now I feel like, you know, coaching is like moving sideways. I feel like, you know, right now we should be striving and fighting to take over, you know, our vocation, which is football. You know, like you see a movement now in Europe where the likes of Devon Shuke, they are in charge of their FAs. Like I'm inspired by Samuel Eto'o, who has taken over, you know, the Cameroonian FA. And like people are fighting him. Like it's not like it's gonna be easy. But like I in was it 2012 when Zambia won the AFCON, you know, Kalusha Bwalya, and he's one of my mentors from a distance. You know, he was the president of the FA. So why can't we do it in South Africa, in the so-called advanced democratic country like South Africa? Lucas, I feel like people like Lucas should be in the forefront of our nation, but like it's not happening, and we know why it's not happening. And when you say like, what are we supposed to be doing as Robert, like who are we? You know, like what's your role as well? You know, so I feel like everyone has got a role. The media, you know, the former players, everybody has got a role to say. But like we're supposed to be taking this direction.
But would you go up to be in a position of made available via the right ways? I know they'll tell you about you got to go represent at LFA level, you got to do this and this. They make it very difficult for you. But if that path were to open for you, would Tefu Mashamaite want to be a SAFA president?
Who's going to open that path for me?
You've got to do
it.
And
what are going to be what's a catch? So that's the question at the end of the day. So for me, it's just about like following my path and being where I feel like I need to be right now. But like I know where I'm going and I know when I'll get there, you know. So right now it's just about empowering myself. And, you know, when they say you chop wood and you draw water, sometimes you got to chop wood and you got to draw water until such time that you elevate and you go to the next level.
What was it about Lillian Thuram and the late Mama Madikizela Mandela that inspired you?
Lillian Thuram, I watched Lillian Thuram make a mistake. 1998 World Cup, France versus Croatia. Second half, they are playing against Croatia. He was playing right back. He makes a technical mistake. Croatia scores. Lillian Thuram doesn't, like falter. He goes and he fights. He scores 2 goals. the only goals of his international career. He doesn't finish there. He comes from the Martinique, it's a colony of France, in the Caribbean. And he continues to say that, like, you know what, we matter, we are black, and we have contributed to what France is. And like for me, that's the kind of like attitude that we all need, to say like, in as much as that I come from a little village, in Limpopo, that I matter and no one is gonna stop me. So that's what Lilian Thuram represents for me. And like I remember just like watching him play was like watching a big brother. It's like going to the tournament that I was telling you about in 1992 when I used to go and watch like our big brothers. Like it was like watching Lilian Thuram play.
And
Mama, man, I don't know why you asked me this question, but my uncle, my mother's older brother, George Mashamaite, he played a pivotal role in the formation of Winnie Mandela Settlement, Kotembisa. So I got to meet Mom. I didn't meet her per se, but like I saw her when she came to have a meeting with my uncle, who was an activist. I think around 1995, 1996, our country was going through a lot of changes then. And, I saw Mama, and it was something that was so beautiful because like I saw the spirit of a panther. She was wearing a black leather jacket, and she came into my uncle's shack then, like it was like a shanty town, if I can call it that way. Nelikomi Kuku. Yeah. So but like that spirit like just stayed with me, and I got inspired. And I don't know if my mother still have those pictures with my uncle and Mama Winnie Mandela standing Kovening, Go Winnie Mandela section, Go Tembisa around 1995, 1996.
I think that is what you call life and its evolution. Talk about, Black Panther movements. I think you'll also be touching on things like your Tupac Shakur with the mother, Afeni Shakur, and you start to think of many other people that became within either music or sport or in whatever circumstances, leaders, but also thought changes. When you start to change people's thought patterns to look at things differently. I think that's what you're offering right now.
It's like it's a ripple effect. There's this quote that it says like a stone cast into a pool of water creates concentric waves whose shape and size are a function less of the stone's particular form and make up than of the force and the direction of the throw. So sometimes in a country like South Africa, we tend to look at the stone and the shape of the stone, but we don't look at what the ripple effect that the stone has created, So sometimes we tend to say, but Robert this, Robert that, but we don't necessarily look at what Robert, the message that Robert was trying to bring.
Right.
So I feel like that's what's holding us back. A country like South Africa, so much greatness about this country, like people don't realize.
Hi Robert, it's A.B. Moloi from Naturena. What a great player there you have by the name of Tefu Mashamaite, a legend indeed, a great player during his time and a gentleman. I remember when he won the best defender and the player of the season, what he did, he gave one of the awards to Mulamu Wandao Matoro. That shows the humility and the professionalism of the former Mashamaite. Just ask him what is he doing now since he has hung up his boots. Thank you.
AB, thank you so much indeed. We'll find out after the break what Tefu Mashamaite is doing now that he's hung up his boots, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, I thought, it was something from his heart when he won the award. 3 awards in the night in the Premier Soccer League. And he said, you know what? 100,000 rand will go to you, my friend and fellow soldier. Mato. And Mato was just like maybe starstruck within his own teammate. An incredible story indeed, but more of that coming up. Quite weird though when you got a guest in studio, he's watching himself on television, and it's the most beautiful thing. It's the most fascinating thing. I don't know what he thinks of himself, as he watches himself on TV, and he's looking and saying, how can I be at two places at the same time? Eh? How's it to watch Tefu Mashamaite while he's on radio? Eh?
I'm finally famous. Mama, I made it.
Mama, you've always made it. You've always made it. That is why you sit here as a legend tonight. I'm going to get back to AB's question about what you did for Matoho. But while we're talking about MTN 8, if you go back, I think it was in September 2014. And September's good to you because it's also your birthday month.
Yeah.
So happy spring day and happy birthday in advance to you. But you were down in Durban. It was going to be a Soweto derby, MTN 8. And there was a certain coach, Stuart Baxter, who then comes up to you, I think it was during lunch or before lunch, and says, he says what? In fact, let me not spoil the story because I wasn't there. But it had to do with you wearing the armband.
Yeah, when you're saying that September has always been good to me, it's a happy new year, African calendar. I'm born on the 27th of September, so it's my birth month. But yeah, talking about that particular day, it was on the 20th of September, 2014. To be, I think it was around 12. Yeah, 12. We were gonna have a snack because normally we have breakfast in the morning and then we have a snack and then we have pre-match meal. So it was Bob steak, it was Doc, it was Stuart. I don't know who started first, but they just delivered the news to me that I was to lead the team on that particular day. It was a final against Orlando Pirates, a derby. Moses Mabhida sold out. I mean, I got scared, to be honest with you. But I remember Bob Steak's words. He said, we have chosen you to go and lift the trophy, Wow. So it was preordained in some kind of way. So I got inspired. I remember from then on, I was just shaken. And we get to the stadium, we're doing our pre-match rituals, warm up and everything, and we go out, bam, I score that goal and everything just fell into place, So maybe when Coach Rulani said God is Chiefs fan, maybe then God was still on our side, because since then Chiefs haven't really done well. But I hope this time around things can change around. People are depressed, especially Chiefs fans, man. It's been a while. There's a serious drought, but I'm happy with what I'm seeing right now, with what's happening with the signings, with what Coach Ntseki is doing, with the players that they have brought in and everything that's coming together. It's been eight seasons, 8 years. I mean, top 8, MTN 8. Everything is about 8 being the number of completion. Maybe it's about time that Chiefs goes back to the glory days.
Well, they've gone back to Kapa. They look like the Kaizer Chiefs of old. The past 2 games have also indicated that. And the then BP top 8 used to be their bread and butter back in those days. Let me take you back to your moment of generosity. It was a clean sweep for you on the big night of the PSL Awards. And then you decided that, you know what, you have a partner in crime.
Yeah.
I mean, the Twin Towers, as both of you were known as. Give me the thinking behind that, because people have said what they've said, read what they've read, but give me...
Man. I've had so many, narratives around my decision, but at the end of the day, I always tell people that I'll do it again, because at the end of the day, the PSL Awards first, me and Tower, we are nominated in almost every category, defender, player of the season. And like PSL awards, I make a clean sweep and I'm taking the money and everything with everything that we did together, and we go on to Chiefs awards. And now I see that like it's probably going to be a clean sweep. So I make a decision at that point that, you know what, at the end of the day, it's not about money. And I think that's one thing that we forget as South Africans, that the humanistic aspect falls out of the window, once money is put in place. And like, I felt like I had a role to play, in setting an example. At the end of the day, money comes, money goes, like, but like there's like certain elements that we have to embrace as humans. We need each other as humans. That's the most important element. You can have all the money, and without humans, like, you are nothing.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa ukhuluma noSibongile Nomkhwane, and good evening to your guest, Tefu Mashamaite, who was my favorite player, Mr. Marawa, my favorite centre back when he was still at Chiefs. I used to follow him a lot, Mr. Marawa, because of his style of play, and I have likened him to the Mamelodi Sundowns centre back, Mosale Bosa. They play almost the same kind of football. What I want to know from Tefu is that since he left Chiefs in that way, when the opportunity arises, maybe in a coaching position or whatsoever, will he consider going back to the team and work for the team in order to get back to the glory days? Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show.
Thank you so much. Your answer to that?
I mean, like, coaching, no, I don't think I'll go into coaching. I'm graduating next week on Tuesday. Just been busy doing a certain FIFA CIES Nelson Mandela University program. It's a 360 program. Sports management, and that's what I'm busy embarking on, and I'm hoping that like I'll elevate to a point where I do a FIFA master, because like this is a FIFA project. So my aim is FIFA, my aim is administration. Praying to God that He blesses me, that I get to that level.
So graduating on Tuesday?
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be there because as MTN 8 legend, there's like programs that we are currently embarking on. But I'm gonna graduate in absentia. But it's run on a FIFA calendar. We started last year September, and then we just finished now in August. We were doing presentations and everything, and I managed to do very well. But I remember when we started the program, Professor John Berger, he's a marketing guru. One of the advice that he gave us was that, like, this program, you don't have to aim at graduating. It's all about networking. Yeah. And for me, the past year has like opened up so many avenues for me. I'm able to like create and forge relationship with someone who sits on the board of Simba SC, Gor Mahia, in Kenya, in Zimbabwe, so like for me it was just about networking and growing my wings, and I hope I can like keep on growing and probably one day use these networks to the advantage of our country.
So how many degrees do you have now?
Well, this one, it was a diploma.
Yeah.
So
how many honors?
For me, it's not necessarily about that. For me, it's just about, like I said about Professor John Berger, it's about the network. Me coming from Wits and being a Wits alumni, I've got like a certain badge, compared to having a degree or honors or this or that. When I go to Wits, when there's like alumni meetings, like I meet people who are in different spaces, and like we can interact on how better we can improve, sports in this instance, also like working, in sports. You saw it's something like that. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a quick listen while I do this. I'll tell you exactly why I'm doing this. It's a strange thing, strange world that we are in. But listen very carefully.
Hello, Brarop. Brarop, you're speaking to Tapelo. Dumedisa Mokoni, the guy. Mokoni, I just want to ask you, during your time at Kaizer Chiefs, when you and Utawa controlled that central defense of Kaizer Chiefs, not leaking many goals, how was the help from Uwilat Katsande from the central midfield? And the other one, what advice can you give our left-sided central defender, UTT? What advice can you give him? Thank you.
Hey, TT and Katsande.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, people say Twin Towers, but it was more than Twin Towers. It was Katsande, it was Bagaka, it was Tefu Mashamaite, it was Itumele Mkhune, it was like guys going forward, just the whole spine of the team. It was guys even beyond, just like what we did on the field. It was just the whole structure that came together. But Katsande played a very pivotal role, in making us to be balanced. I remember that's when the whole concept of like false number 5, came into play. And I remember Coach Stewart used to tell Katsande that, like, you must watch Mascherano plays, because like he mastered that position very well. And yeah, Katsande, great player.
Great human being as well, eh?
Yeah,
Katsande,
definitely.
Mr. Fashion.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Marau, and good evening to Tefu. Tefu, do you think leaders are born, or the environment they found themselves does shape their leadership traits or their leadership style? Thanks, David in Parkwood.
David Parkwood, thank you so much. How do you answer that?
I think it's that whole concept of nature versus nurture. Sometimes, I feel like you get born into an environment that requires you to develop certain skills. So it becomes a debate now. But like I feel like circumstances that you are exposed to, somehow like they mold you, they mold the certain qualities that you espouse, and you become a leader as a result.
Do players, and I know we're running out of time, man, do players get blacklisted by clubs?
More like blackballed.
Tell me about that.
It's the nature of the beast.
How, though?
That's just how society is designed, because there's certain structures, and, at the top of the pyramid, those who are at the top of the pyramid, they have to maintain a certain power. So therefore, if you're gonna go and challenge, that system, they have got more power to, eliminate that.
So they keep you in the dark,
debate.
Though.
But like you know what, at the end of the day, if you are meant to get to the top, you'll end up at the top.
Somebody who's admired you a long time, Shupi from Mamelodi Sundowns?
Yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah, he says, you know what, I've always said to Tefu that he is presidential. The books that he reads, he cites Eusebius Kaizer, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, man,
Enjoyed the conversation, music and books when they did the interview.
Yeah, Miles Davis. I mean, like, we can go on and on. Amiri Baraka. I mean, like, you can go on and on, my brother.
Yeah.
But like, music and books, just the concept of arts in shaping life, for me, has been something that has shaped my imagination and how I look at the world. And I think, Eusebius was just such a brilliant mind, and just listening to him talk, inspired me a lot. And Shupi is my brother. I remember he arranged an interview, one of my first interviews with Eusebius while he was still at 702 across the road. Yeah. So very inspiring. But like I said, I've always, wanted to wear the scholar cap before the baller cap.
We out of time. MTN 8 final. Who's going to be in it?
I wish Chiefs they get to the final. I wish they reclaim their glory days. I wish that everything falls into place. New trophy, new coach.
So basically, Chiefs to go for it.
Yeah, Chiefs. I mean, like I know people are gonna say but Sundowns, tomorrow. But Pirates did wonders last season. They surprised Sundowns. So I hope that Chiefs can gain a bit of inspiration from that. It's not going to be easy.
It's a two-legged affair as well. And I couldn't because of time. Therefore, thank you so much, man, for popping in. I'm sure we are to chat further because we want to talk about your agency and everything else. But all the best. Keep inspiring. You are my inspiration as well. Keep up the good work, bub.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Robert Marawa, live on 947.